Hi everybody, and welcome back today to another WinPure's weekly webinar. My name is Ben Cutler and I'm one of our solutions specialists here at WinPure. Today we're introducing address verification and address capture plus, and we're officially announcing our partnership with Loqate, which is a GBG company, which is the world's leading location intelligence provider. So a quick note is that everyone on the call is muted, but feel free to submit questions along the way. You can ask questions via the question box on the GoToWebinar control panel, and we'll start taking those questions at about the 15-minute mark. Also keep in mind that this webinar is being recorded, and for anyone that registered, I will send a link to the recording and a link to my online calendar. If you'd like to get in touch, I'd be glad to hear from you. Any questions, suggestions, or if you'd like to book a one-on-one, feel free to do that. So let's go ahead and jump into it here, and let's start with the basics. What is address verification? So address verification is location intelligence. It's location data, right? It's essentially a validation against a high-quality source of location data. This is going to help you to validate, to correct, to standardize, and to enrich your address data. Now, this can be done both at the point of data entry and in batch. So we have two different solutions. The type ahead solution, which is the address capture plus solution. This essentially allows you to integrate a very simple API into your ERPs, your CRMs, your billing systems, your website, maybe your purchasing systems, things like that, and allow the individual that's entering the address to do some validation against a high quality source of address data. So it actually offers suggestions as the address is being typed out. It's pretty cool. We've got an example on the website here. We'll look at that today, and feel free to jump on the website and take a look for yourself. We also have bulk verification for batch processing. That's done using our Clean and Match enterprise software with address verification. Again, both solutions, keep in mind that both solutions do offer this type of address verification for 245 plus countries. So why is this important, right? Well, it's obviously going to depend on the nature of your business. Most companies collect, capture, purchase, and manage a variety of types of data, right? People data, company data, customer data, vendor data, assets, transactions, products, materials. But most of this data is all associated with addresses or locations. Now, most organizations are striving to become more data-driven, right? Enabling them to create new business opportunities, new models, new business models, to generate more revenue, predict future trends, to optimize their operations, and to produce more actionable insights that they can use to drive value back to the business. But keep in mind, in reality, the truth is that organizations these days are working with more data than they ever have before, right? Coming from a variety of different sources, and the more you can work with that data and distribute that data, quality data, as close to real time as possible, the more of a competitive edge that you're going to have, right? The more you can plug some of those operational leaks, so to speak. So that data quality is always going to be a factor for you. Remember that data versus information, data is more traditionally referred to as being raw and not fit for business purposes, right? It requires massaging, it requires validation, preparation, and transformation into what would then be referred to as useful information, which the organization can then be used, can use to drive value back to the business. So ultimately, again, the value is not just the data or the speed at which you receive the data or the number of sources that you're pulling from, but the value is really being able to efficiently transform and to monetize that data. So location intelligence is used in a variety of applications. So just to name a few, we've seen location data used in IoT, location-based communications, advertising, advanced analytics, pricing, personalization, and a lot more. Again, at the end of the day, it's really going to depend on the nature of your business. But what we do know, if we look to a Gartner study, is that CEOs are thinking about growth into new markets or new regions, which of course is going to require useful location intelligence. We know that CEOs are thinking about new products and revenue or revenue producing channels, which of course is going to require fast, accurate, quality information or data to be used to provide useful information back to the business. We know that CEOs are also thinking about their financial priorities, profitability, cost, risk mitigation. And quoting from a couple of different studies, we know that data leaders, those that are able to quickly and efficiently and effectively collect, transform data into revenue, those data leaders, they outperform their peers with increased margins, reduced operational costs, and we also know that poor data quality affects operational efficiency, risk mitigation, decision making, agility, and a variety of other areas of business. So the bottom line here is that data quality and useful information is the critical underlying layer of any 2009 business priority or initiative. So today we're really excited to announce our partnership with Loqate, a GBG company. I have with me today our partner Vicki, head of global channels. Vicki is going to be providing a quick introduction to Loqate, and she'll also be available to take questions following the brief demonstration. So Vicki, thanks again for joining us today. How are you?
Great, Ben. Thank you. And thanks for inviting me to your weekly webinar. So just a bit about Loqate. First of all, we are proud to be a partner of yours, of WinPure's, the global leader in data quality and cleansing. And we look forward to many years of successful partnering. Well, about Loqate. So we're thrilled to be celebrating 10 years of our company this year. And as we know, technology certainly has been a whirlwind this past decade, especially in the e-commerce sector, where an address is vital to a package's success in getting to its destination. But we also serve other technology sectors, as in financial services, healthcare, government. But it is very important to verify someone's exact location anywhere in the world today. And I'm happy to say that we continue to see growth in the location intelligence market, and having new partners like WinPure is super exciting for our growth. So our original route to market was to partner with companies that embed our rich and powerful addressing technology, such as WinPure has done. When we started business back in 2009, we partnered with MDM and data quality leaders such as IBM, Oracle, Pitney Bowes, that were leaders in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. We have continued to grow with them and other partners to enhance their solutions, just as we are with WinPure. So what makes Loqate the innovative market leader in location intelligence is that we're the only single API solution that provides all the global addressing, geocode, reverse geocode, email, and phone validation. Those are all the solutions that WinPure is integrating. It's also deployable in the cloud or on-premise. And as Ben mentioned, our global address API provides addresses for 245 countries and territories in 130 postal and country formats across 8 languages. So we're backed by our parent company, GBG. They're the leader in identity intelligence. We're the largest division within GBG, and we continue to invest in obtaining multiple data sources around the globe. An example of that is our recent announcement with our data partner, NavInfo. This partnership expands our ability to provide premise-level data for more than 6 million miles of roads in China and 30 million points of interest. So we continue to grow by partnering with some of the best and innovative companies today. So our company technology is used 12 million times a day and billions of times each year. Our list of customers that our partners have acquired and are servicing is like the who's who, right? These customers are using different solutions in our portfolio, but regardless if they're using Capture Plus or Verify, they have access to our global address database. So let's move on and talk a bit about our products that WinPure is using. So starting from the left-hand side of the picture, right? Our Capture Plus solution is a real-time search engine, as Ben mentioned earlier. Suggestions to autocomplete the address are immediately provided as soon as you, the user, types a business name, a street, or a zip code. It's also IP biased and will bring up addresses in the location you are in. Think anytime you are purchasing product on your smartphone or laptop and you are in the checkout screen. Bang, that's Capture Plus. The benefit is by entering in an accurate global address data at the point of entry is you reduce the need to clean it once it's in your database. It also reduces costs as it increases business efficiency with address verification by avoiding poor data quality. And the cost of missed deliveries and errors, well, it all works out. It also improves the user experience by improving website usability, and everyone loves a happy customer. If there's frictionless checkout, that's what we want. Moving to the right-hand side of this picture, the Loqate solution, the backend will parse, standardize, verify, cleanse, and format address data for 240 countries in the world. And finally, to the heart of what makes us the global leader in location intelligence, in the middle, the data. The world's population is constantly growing, as we know, and to keep up with the new addresses, we need to obtain more addresses. So we use the standard providers such as USPS, Canada Post, Royal Post, and Australia Post to build our reference data, but we certainly don't stop there. We continue to partner with multiple companies around the globe to obtain data, and then we blend the data into single best-in-class golden records. This is a proprietary process we call PDH, or persistent data hierarchy. A country data set is improved using the PDH process, and it enhances the reliability, improves the speed, and the quality of the global location data. So why is Loqate different? To sum it up, we are a trusted partner. We provide one single API. We have multiple ways to deploy, and we constantly enrich our product by looking at different data sources. So at this point, I'll hand it back to Ben.
Great, thanks, Vicki. Really appreciate the introduction. And you touched on so many of the different points and you know, so many of the different reasons why we evaluated a variety of different address verification vendors, and we chose to partner with Loqate. So again, thank you so much for the introduction. So great, let's go ahead and jump into a quick demonstration of the address verification in batch to work with bulk addresses, and a quick demonstration of the Address Capture Plus to deal with real-time address entry. And then again, we'll start taking some questions at that point. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch screens here. I've queued up an example of some address data in batch. And you know, I just want to touch on, you know, Vicki, something I heard you mention there, which is, you know, one of the benefits of doing some verification at the point of address capture, at the point of entry. And you mentioned reducing the cost of cleansing the data once it's in the database. And I really just wanted to stop and expand upon that. You know, so a lot of the times, you know, you're purchasing data or something along those lines, and it's just not possible to, you know, to verify and kind of correct that address at the point of entry because it wasn't entered into your own systems, right? Or if it, you know, once it did enter into your own systems, it was entered more in batch, right? And this solution is going to be perfect for that. But I also wanted to add to the benefit, which is that when you've got an address or, you know, customer information or you know, vendor information that's being entered into your system, obviously it's typically being distributed out then to other disparate systems, right? Which is one of the biggest problems that we see organizations facing today, is that, you know, they often don't have a single source of truth. Or maybe they do have a single source of truth, but you know, they've got so many different areas of business that are pulling from a variety of different systems, each of those systems with different information. So again, if that information can be corrected, standardized, cleansed, verified, validated at the point of entry, it then gets distributed into these other systems as it should be. You know, so again, it's really kind of a complicated problem once it gets added to any of your master data systems. So again, a quick example here. We've loaded some data. We're actually working with with a U.S. location here. So this is the O'Hare International Airport. I'm sure many people on the call are familiar with this one. We've got a variety of data quality issues, missing information, incomplete information, ambiguities, a variety of different ways of describing the same piece of information and things like that. And it's very simple using WinPure Clean and Match address verification, enterprise with address verification. We've loaded some data which we can pull in from different sources, different file types, databases, CRMs. And then we're just going to move to verify. A little bit of quick setup here. We're going to choose which fields we're going to use to do the verification. We have some additional certification options and geocoding. So there are some different packaging options for this. There's the basic verification, there's verification plus geocoding, and some countries even offer more of a certification process here. So we're going to set that up. We're going to choose our country. Again, this is available for 245 plus countries. And then we're going to run some quick verification. So it's very, very simple to use. This is, again, the best-in-class source of data, 245 plus countries around the world, so really incredible coverage. It's very useful, it's fully supported, and it's probably much more economical than you'd expect. We've taken this input address data here with a variety of different errors. We've run it through the verification process, and we have a lot more of very, very useful information where we're essentially, again, partnering with Loqate to use their engine to standardize, to validate, to correct, and to enrich these addresses, making it much, much more useful for you. So very quickly and easily, you can tell the good addresses from the bad addresses, and those that are useful then become more useful to you. Those that are bad addresses also then, in many cases, will become more useful to you. Just knowing which is going to be useful for you. And a lot of the times we can even do some enrichment to that address, even if it is a poor quality input. So you'll see here maybe 50 or 60 fields of data that can be added where the information is standardized, corrected, enriched. The input is also marked with an address quality index, an address verification code, and a match score to help you to better understand the quality of that input. We also have delivery point validation and things like that. So it really makes the data much, much more useful. Again, if you do have, dozens of different data silos, and different databases feeding different business applications, it's really useful and it's incredibly easy to go in and just take a look at that data and very quickly do some validation to see where you have problems, and where you've actually got good location intelligence to work with. So that's a quick introduction, a quick demonstration of the batch solution. Let's go ahead and switch over to the address capture plus solution here. And then again, we'll open it up to questions. So using that same address here, I'm going to go ahead and just start typing in West O'Hare, and the address is automatically brought up for me. So again, it offers that suggestion. I'm going to choose that suggestion, and then I've got the complete, verifiable, standardized version of that address. So again, it's very, very useful. Again, you can, the API is very easy to implement. This is something you can integrate as part of your ERP system, your CRM system, your purchasing, your payment systems, your website. It really depends on the nature of your business and where that location data really provides to you the most value. Again, think about being able to, ensure the quality and the validity of that address and the completeness of that address, the accuracy of that address at kind of the front end before it gets distributed out to other systems, which then becomes an even larger problem for you. So this is available on our website, winpure.com. As you can see in the upper left here, go to products and then WinPure address capture, and you can do some of your own testing if you'd like to. But that's just a quick demonstration here. Let's do a quick time check. Yep, looks like it's about time for questions. So we're going to go ahead and start taking some questions now. So I'll take the lead on the response to the questions and bring Vicki in to help out with that. Let's go ahead and see what we have coming in here. First question from Chris, great question. Do you have a REST API? And Chris, I'm gonna actually default this question to Vicki here. Vicki, maybe you can help me out with the response on that. Otherwise, Chris, we can take it offline. But Vicki, can you help out with that one?
Yes, we do.
Okay, perfect. Appreciate the quick and the confident response there. Next question here. How often is the reference data updated for address data? Let me see if that's just one question. Yeah, so that's going to vary by the solution. And Vicki, I'm going to open this up to you. I'm going to give a quick response and open it up to you to see if you want to kind of elaborate a bit. But we've got the real-time, the address capture plus solution that's updated, I think as often as daily. So it's kind of a real-time update in that case. The batch solution for batch or bulk verification, that's going to be more of like a quarterly basis. Vicki, can you offer any additional clarification?
Sure, yeah. We have multiple release schedules, but it's every 6 weeks for major releases. Okay,
perfect. Appreciate that. Next question here, and Chris, I'm getting a few from you, so I appreciate it. Next question, what is the level of accuracy for geocoding? Is geocoding for all countries? Yeah, so again, quick response from me, and I'll open it up to Vicki here. So in my mind, geocoding, it's to the 6th decimal. It's the most accurate level of geocoding available. Is it available for all countries? I'm really not sure. So Vicki, I'm going to turn this question over to you.
Sure. Thank you, Ben. So yeah, the geocode, it appends the digital latitude and longitude to any address, right? And we provide point level, which is rooftop geocoding. It is not available in all countries, all 240. It is available to the premise level location in 120 countries, and the rooftop is available in 60 countries. And happy to provide the list of countries, but it is available on our website as well.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think those are the types of details that we're looking for. So next question here, do you also have data for geocode location for IP address? It's a good question. Vicki, I'm going to turn that one straight to you.
So I think that where they're going is the reverse geocoding. So yes, we can identify a location, right, wherever you are, nearest to the lat long coordinate, right? So this expands to potential for all location-based services and geospatial to figure out where you are and what's closest to your location where you are. So it's really cool. There's a lot of solutions that we're seeing in the IoT that are using this today.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I wouldn't have bridged that gap and just assumed that it would have been kind of the reverse lookup, but that's really good to know. That's awesome. So next question here, geocode at rooftop and street level. This is again from Chris, so appreciate the question, Chris. Geocode at rooftop and street level. Vicki, again, I'm going to turn that one right to you for some clarification on that.
I'm not quite sure what the question is, but we do provide it. We just went over that. We do provide the rooftop geocoding in 60 countries.
And street level. Elaborate.
Right, so we can add geocodes to the street level in 120 countries.
Okay.
Again, yeah.
So I'm actually getting feedback here, so we can keep the conversation going. So in this scenario, street level is described to reference the mailbox level. Is that something you can comment on, Vicki?
No, I cannot at this time.
Sure. Okay, no problem. So Chris, yeah, we can take that one offline and keep that conversation going. Do you have NCOA, National Change of Address? So quick response, that's available at least in the US, not sure wherever else that might be available. Vicki, can you help me with the answer to that one?
Sure, actually we have partners that we work with to provide NCOA. Happy to make the introductions.
Okay, perfect. Appreciate that. Great, let's take a look here. Quite a few questions coming in. Do a quick time check. Looks like we might have time for one or two more questions here. Next question, I am a current user. I have the US CAS. Can I upgrade to other countries? Yeah, quick response to that question, absolutely. So again, CAS is a form of certification, so there's different levels of verification available. There's the kind of the basic verification. Some countries offer the certification, that would be kind of an add-on to the basic verification. And then again, the geocoding aspect there. So you know, you can absolutely upgrade to some other packages there available for other countries as well. If you want to keep that conversation going, you know, please, you know, feel free to reach out. You'll get an email from me following this webinar, and I'd be happy to have that conversation. Next question here. Where does the data come from? Now, I think we actually kind of touched on this during the presentation. I'm going to turn that one over to you, Vicki, if you don't mind fielding that question. I think you can be a bit more specific.
Right, yeah, I did touch on this, but that's fine. So we do source from multiple sources, right? I think I mentioned in the US, it's USPS, and then Canada Post and Royal Mail for UK and Australia Post. And then we also, I mean, we have a team of folks that really look globally, right, on the best sources for each country, right? There are a lot of growth out there in the global world, and it's always changing, and not for some countries, there's not only one source, there's multiple. And that's when we acquire the sources, and I mentioned that we, you know, then create one golden record from the multiple sources of data. Sometimes, you know, there's one address that has, you know, pieces of it, and another source will give us another piece of that address. And so we combine them together in our PDH process, and then we end up with a golden record.
That's perfect. You know, just a quick comment, it makes so much sense because you've got so many different types of addresses as well, right? I mean, the address that, you know, USPS, for example, might use for an address will vary oftentimes from other sources. So being able to kind of take, you know, a few different versions of the same location point and be able to kind of roll that up into a single location, I think is really, really innovative. So that's great. Let's take the last question here before we wrap up today. This is actually another one from Chris. Do you have a list of result codes where it fails? Oh yeah, I quick response here, Chris. If I jump back over to I mean, I assume that you're referring to when the verification cannot be done, and there are a variety of different flags for that. If I jump back over to just the software here for a second, and we take a look at the output, we can scroll over here to like CAS DPV footnotes. So this is very specific for the certification process used in the US. This is delivery point validation. These are the footnotes. These are codes that'll help you to better understand whether or not the address is verifiable against that certification process, and you know, what attributes might be missing or incorrect and things like that. But there are a variety of different flags. We also have the match score, the address verification code. So these are, if I'm not mistaken, 4 separate kind of codes to help you to better understand the quality of the address. Vicki, real quickly here before we wrap up, do you want to clarify on that at all?
Yeah, so this is one of the cool things about our product, right? So we have the ability to provide you, you know, the address, we call it the AVC codes, on how good that the returned address is. And a lot of people use these to determine if they want to use the address or not use the address. So it's a very complicated, you know, thing to review. So it's not something I can cover in a few minutes, but happy to provide more information in the email that you're going to send out. But it is something that enables you to really accurately determine if you want to move forward with the address after it's been cleansed.
Oh, that's perfect. So let's leave it there for today. Vicki, you know, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ben.
You're welcome. Thank you. Everybody else, thank you for joining the call today. Really appreciate your interest, your consideration. Look out for the email, and feel free to reach out if you have any suggestions, questions, things like that. Hope everybody has a great rest of the week. Thanks again for joining.